Let's talk about the oiling system in this engine, and this is one that I want you to pay close attention if you own one of these engines. The first thing you notice about this engine, oil-wise, is that it uses 0W16, and people have described it as water for oil. People have described it as the biggest disaster that's going to hit this engine. Bear with me when I say you are wrong if you think that way. And here's why. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not use any other oil than 0W16 in this engine. Yes, the owner's manual will tell you you can substitute for 0W20, but it also tells you at the next oil change, go back to 0W16. That means you do not want to use that any other oil other than 0W16 weight in this engine long term. And the reason for that is most older gasoline engines in Toyota land, it just uses a good old mechanical oil pump, spins with the engine, you rev up the engine, oil pressure goes up, you let the RPM come down, oil pressure comes down. When the oil is cold, it's higher pressure, warms up, lower pressure, has an oil pressure relief valve, so if the pressure all of a sudden shoots through the sky, it can relieve that pressure and kind of control it on the high end only. Come this engine does not have that exact basic ancient antiquated system. It uses a variable oil pump. Now it's a lot more complicated than what I'm gonna make it right now, but in an essence, this engine has the ability to control the oil pressure very precisely. So hypothetical numbers here, where these are not exact numbers, I'm just giving you the idea so you can draw that picture. You start the engine cold, let's say the pressure is at 30 psi. The engine computer is watching everything. It does so much in this car, it's just marvel of engineering. It's watching everything. Okay, the engine is cold, let's put it at 30 psi. Engine warmed up, let's drop it to 10 psi. Then you're driving normally, all I need to keep this engine lubricated and good is 10 psi. We're gonna keep it there regardless of the RPM. Then all of a sudden you get to a certain amount of RPM, which from field testing, and this is not an official number, right around 3,000 RPM, the oil pressure jumps up. Let's say it was a 10, all of a sudden it went to 40, and it stays there. Exact number, it doesn't even vary from that. This is the beauty of this engine, and the reason they did all this, and it just makes people wonder, why all this complication? It sounds like a German car, not a Toyota. Well, the reason they did that is, you have that oil pump speeding up and down with the engine, creating all that friction and all that load on the engine. It's just like you have an AC compressor running. It actually creates a lot of load on this engine. But by doing that, where it's only going to use how much it needs, not how much the RPM demands, it's actually going to create less friction, therefore less emissions and better fuel efficiency. That's just a beauty of this system. And because of this beauty, you have to use the right oil because this system is calibrated to run on that specific oil. Toyota engineers, God bless them because they are very smart. Now, yes, they designed fail-safes and they designed everything, but they cannot go out of their way to design things for misuse. They're gonna make things reliable and robust, but you misuse them by using, say, 20W40, this whole theory goes out of the window, and now you're on your own there because that's misuse. That is not, expectation that, oh, it's a Toyota, it's reliable. That's not a good idea. Just use the 0W16, and trust me on this. I've already taken one of these engines apart, and we've seen issues with oils. So stick with that 0W16, and you won't have problems. This engine is designed for that oil from the get-go. It was not an add-on like some others that changed to 0W20.